Certainly in my lifetime and thereafter, people will kind of equate, I think, much of what the ID is and will be with Bob Santos.
Well, Bob saved the International District. I don't think there's any question about it. When you look at back in the 1970s, there was redevelopment going on throughout this country. And I would have had an opportunity to go and visit different areas, and places like Sacramento, and their Chinatown was just really destroyed by redevelopment. And you saw some new buildings and you saw some new plazas, and that was it. And didn't have the history, the proud history that Sacramento once had with its big, huge Chinatown. To me, it was gone and it was sad. But as I went to different places, I noticed that trend. But in Seattle, you still see that we have the Chinatown and the International District, and a lot of that has to do with Bob Santos. If it wasn't for him, that wouldn't have happened.
And most of Seattle didn't want to live in the International District or near it. Bob made sure that housing as well as services were adequate enough for the residents. And 30 years later, when gentrification was going on or started, and a lot of people wanted to live in the International District or around it, Bob made sure that there was still affordable housing through projects like the Nihonmachi project, as well as the needed services down there through projects like Village Square.
Human support organizations like ACRS, like the International District Health Center, his work in the arena of housing, both with SCID, PDA, and with Interim, the work that he did to spearhead the establishment of the Denise Louis Education Center to make sure that working people could live and stay with their families in the International District. The work on the community garden, those are all accomplishments that I think really define Bob Santos.
He got students involved who had never been involved in anything and didn't particularly have an inclination to become activists. I mean, there were student activists, but there's always that same small group. And Uncle Bob had a way of reaching people way beyond that who might never think of themselves as activists, but he had a way of getting them involved.
Back then, I had hair down to here and, you know, kind of looked sloppy every time I saw him, clothes-wise. But, and he says, you know, Jeffrey, there's something about you that I think is good. And so when you get out of college, I want you to look me up. I'll hire you. And I never forgot what he told me. I completed college, got a haircut, and went back and visited. Now I knew him as Uncle Bob, and you know, he was true to his word. He hired me.
Galvanize the young people and help them remember and celebrate and take pride in the struggles of our community, to recognize that there is a contribution yet to be made, and to get all parts of our community working together.
I know for me, Bob was the first one to really reach out to me and to get me to stand up for what I believe in.
Uncle Bob told me, he said, Jeffrey, I think you have a future. I said, really? He goes, yeah, I'm impressed with how you recruited all these interpreters to go out into the community to conduct the surveys. I said, yeah? He goes, yeah, they're all women. And they're younger. And so he says, Jeffrey, you got a future.
That Bob did along with Roberto and Bernie and Larry to show that divisions could be overcome and that we could work together for a singular vision that recognizes if we pull together, we can create a better future for all of us. That's a very important legacy that I take a lot of pride in as Bob's wife, because you don't see that in other parts of the country. You see too many places where ethnic, racial, class divisions continue to separate communities, and they struggle to find that solid center point of unity. And so I think we have something very special here in Seattle and in King County with the Gang of Four and their legacy, and I'm very proud that Bob had a role in that.
He galvanized the entire community to come down and be part of this renewal, this preserving of our historic roots, and that was in the International District.